run and jump and play. Curious George, the curious little monkey. Let's go see what he's doing today.
Curious George goes hiking. George, said the man with the yellow hat, your friends Ted and Susie want to go hiking in the woods. How about it? So off they went in their little blue car. At the start of the trail, Ted and Susie were checking their gear. I'll pick you up later, said the man. Have a good time, but don't get into trouble. I'll be the leader, Ted said. Let's follow this trail through the woods. And I'll carry the canteen, said Susie. George, you carry this bag of marshmallows. Later on, we'll make a fire and toast them. Let's go, said Ted. And they started off on the trail. Be on the lookout for animals and let's stay together so that we don't get lost, said Ted. Look, there's a cardinal, shouted Ted. George watched it land on a rock. He tiptoed closer to get a better look, but he tripped on a branch and dropped the bag of marshmallows. The bag landed on a sharp rock and got a little tear. Hurry up, George called Susie. We don't want to lose you. For a while, everything was quiet. Suddenly, George heard a rustling sound in the brush. A little chipmunk ran across the trail and went off into the woods. Where did it go? George ran after it. The chipmunk disappeared in a hole at the bottom of the tree. Was this his home? George was curious. He tried to peek into the hole. Come on, George, stay with us, called Susie. Look, Ted shouted, there's a deer. All three of them ran after it. George was in such a hurry that he did not pay attention to the tear in the bag. The marshmallows started to drop out one by one. Ted and Susie and George were running all over the woods, round and round bushes and trees. It was fun. They even chased the deer across a little brook. But the deer was too fast for them. Whee, said Ted. Let's stop. It's time to make a fire for our marshmallows. Let me have the bag, George. George handed the bag over to Ted, but it was empty. Ted was angry. Look what you've done, he said. You let the marshmallows spill all over the woods. Now we've got nothing to eat and we're hungry. George started to cry. Does anyone know where we are? Asked Susie. They had chased the deer in so many directions that they had lost their way. It's getting dark, said Ted. I don't think we'll be able to find our way back. Now, Ted and Susie were scared. George looked around. What are we going to do? Cried Susie. We're lost. But George knew what to do. He took Ted and Susie by the hand and led them along the path of the spilled marshmallows. Why, George, Ted shouted, the marshmallows will lead us right back to where we came from. You've spilled all of them and made us hungry, but the trail will lead us to a good dinner. They followed George right back to the trail. The man with the yellow hat was waiting for them. I'm so glad to see all of you, he said. It was getting late and I was worried. We were lost in the woods, said Susie, but George led us back along the marshmallow trail. I'm sure glad you spilled them, said Ted. George, said the man with the yellow hat, since you're such a good scout, let's celebrate. Just so happens I have another bag of marshmallows at home. We can toast them in our fireplace. And so they did.